this video we are looking at the positions for the serve and return in doubles. In particular we're looking at level doubles. So let's get straight on with the board and let's go through a few things with you. So let's take this pair here and we're going to make them the servers. So one player ready for serve and their partner. Now for some people, especially the older generation like me, we can't be too close to the server like the pros are. We need a little bit more time. So how about moving back a little bit? The idea is it's easier to move forwards than it is to go backwards. So this player, we already know what they're going to do. They're going to serve. The reason their partner is in the middle is because we don't know where that shuttle's going to go. But we do have certain functions. We want to maintain attack if we possibly can. So the first thing we have to do is be ready to close out shuttles going into the mid-court. For those who've been on my coaching courses, this area here, I call this the outer wall of the castle. And this is the strategic castle. This is where the game can be won and lost. So I need to protect my outer walls because if they get raided, this will fall. So the idea here is that this player must be able to be coming forwards and take this shuttle as early as they possibly can on either side. Likewise, they need to be able to move back. If they're unable to maintain pressure, that means hitting the shuttle down and keep it on the opposing pair, then hit it up and get rid of it. So that's my positions for service partner. Now let's just take the server. There are some people who like to be as close into a tee as possible to make this the shortest distance possible into the tee. However, for myself, I like to be just a little way out, and there are pros and cons for doing this. The pros are I can move within a very small area, and generally the player who's returning the serve doesn't pick it up very well, which means I have different angles of approach into the same zone. So I find that an advantage. The downside to that is if I do put a good shot in here, I've got a little bit more distance to travel to take that return, but I'm willing to accept that. So some players, I say, they like to be really tight in there. Perfectly fine, it works really well, and it's used by a lot of the pro players as well to be very, very tight in here on both sides. That's your preference. We're not going to talk about tactics of serving, we're just talking positions today. Let's have a look at the opponents then. There are lots and lots of areas again where there can be issues here. What I tend to see a lot in intermediate badminton is I'll have a player who positions themselves to return the serve and the partner's over there. Now if you think about that, what function is this player actually performing right now? It's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? Because they could do a lot more to help their partner right now. So why is that a problem? Let's have a look. Well, what happens if the serve is played in there, shuttle's returned, next shot hands. If this player isn't following the game, that's a long distance to try and get to a shuttle. Very, very difficult indeed. So the idea is that we want to try and set a situation whereby we're kind of mirroring our opponent here. We'll talk about this player in a minute. The other function this player now has, if a shuttle comes up the centre line, they have the best view to advise their partner whether they should play the shot or not. They've got a bird's eye view of the alignment and the speed. This player hasn't, because that shuttle is flicked going very, very quickly. So the idea is they make the call. Great way to help your partner. Now, we've talked about this player. Now, let's talk about the returner here. If I see quite a lot, we have players who kind of stand in the middle. Well, if I'm standing in the middle, whilst I can get to that, it's a little bit of a tight stretch. That one's quite nice. That one's not too bad. However, I've left all this side wide open for a flick. What's the point of doing that? That's the backhand side for most players as well, if they can't run around it. So it's just left wide open. So it's not recommended. However, we also don't want to see a player standing very tight to the line. What they're really doing is they're telling us, I don't like that shot there. Please don't play it there. That's the information they've already given us. Personally, if I wanted to, I could still put one there, but why worry about it? That's now wide open as well. So, being in some kind of central position, but not too far away from here, can be an ideal place for a player at a certain level who maybe hasn't got the mobility anymore. For good players, of course, I expect that to be better. But here's a little tip for you. If you draw a line from where the shuttle is into the top corner, so there's my line. If I place the player who's right-handed to the left of the line, then they're in a position to cover this, and now they've got all the reach from their arm, the racket arm, plus a racket for this side. So no matter what, when they're moving, hopefully they can get to that flick serve and be able to take that shot. Now, slightly different on the other side. So let's take serving to this player instead. I take the same principle and draw my line all the way into the deep corner so we can see that. On this time, I place a player on the line. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, that's a little bit suspect there. But yet again, right-handed player, I've got the extension of my arm and a racket. The hardest shot on this side for a player to get from a flick serve is in that corner. Well, now I'm on the line. If I continue to move back straight, if this shuttle is to the left of me, then at some point it must be going out because I've got a true line backwards. So that positioning helps me to judge the flight into that corner. It also allows me to shut that one down early, come in and take that, probably early as well. So the only area where there's a little bit more work is shuttles going into that corner. But I say, right arm, right hand. If I was left-handed, then all I would do is I'd flip the rules. So, very, very basic. There you go. Positioning for doubles, serve and return. See you on another video.